George Russell sets the pace on the opening day of the Dutch Grand Prix as F1 well and truly returns from its summer break. Elsewhere, Alpine announced Jack Doohan as Pierre Gasly's teammate for next season. But the big story of the day comes from Haas as former title partner Uralkali step up their efforts to get 12 million euros back. From Racing News 365, my name is Nick Golding, and I'm joined not by lead editor Ian Parks, who is enjoying a well-deserved holiday. Instead, I am joined by Racing News 365 royalty, Aaron Deckers. Aaron, we've got to start with Haas and Uralkali because it's the first day back for F1, and already Haas appear to be in a bit of trouble.
Thank you for the warm welcome. Excuse me for my English. And it was an interesting day here, the Friday in the Netherlands. With yesterday evening, I actually already went back to the paddock late at night to see who was around at Haas, because we were on track that some people were at Haas who shouldn't be there because they were doing the taxation and the indication of what was around, the hospitality, the cars, engines, etc., etc., etc. To make this, big number of what you already mentioned, 12 million, and that even without interest. And that's the number they're looking for, because they try to claim all the stuff that Haas has over here in the paddock, because the sponsor from Russia is saying, okay, you haven't paid us. And 2 months ago, already the verdict was there in the Swiss court that said, like, okay, you have to pay us back, because this money doesn't belong to Haas, it belongs to Leaki, and they have to pay it now back. So interesting to see, of course, I would involve them that here in the Netherlands, especially here, that they came to do all the counts, and they said, okay, we will claim all this stuff if you don't pay us the money back. This morning we went to Haas and asked for the situation clearance on it, and they told us, as also written on our website, that they said, like, okay, we are already busy with this, but it's just difficult to make the payment to this company, because between the United States and also Europe, in this case, it doesn't matter, but between the United States and Russia, you cannot make transaction since 2022. And for that reason, it was not possible for us to pay the money, but we will get this sorted. We will pay the money and everything will be fine. At this point, as far as we understand, this still has not been done. And that's why there is still the risk that the sponsor is in its rights to claim all the stuff that is here behind me of Haas. And then they could say, like, okay, on Sunday night, you won't get your stuff back until we have the money. If the money still is not back then in Russia, let's say, and then Haas would be in serious problems, because if you count out that you can't leave on Monday or only on Tuesday, then definitely the Italian Grand Prix would be at risk. So at this point, it's all good. And but the situation is definitely there. As far as we know, the money is still not transferred, not wired to the sponsor. And for that reason, there is still a case here behind me about Haas. So that's not much to do with Formula One, a lot of politics. That's not a specialty, but we try to cover this story as good as possible, of course.
And of course, it is still very much a developing story, and Race News 365 will have all of it as soon as we get it, because there is a lot going on behind the scenes and on the track as well. Not a good day for Haas with Nico Hulkenberg bringing out a red flag in FP2. But let's talk about the on-track action, because FP2 was much better than FP1. FP1 was a bit of a washout with a little bit of dry running towards the end, but it's George Russell on top. Of course, went into the summer break on the back of being disqualified in the Belgian Grand Prix for his car being underweight, losing a victory under horrible circumstances. However, Mercedes seemed this weekend in Zandvoort to have a pretty good car.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It definitely seems that Russell has a good swing, right? And right after the holidays, he's again back at it. Yesterday, we had a conversation with him, and what he also said, like, I never thought about the disqualification during my holiday, because he felt I am the Grand Prix winner. He still feels like that victory is mine, because 1.5 kilo too much. It's like 1/10 over the whole race course. So no way, this is mine. And as you mentioned, that feeling, he seems to really be driving with it already today. The difference is big, of course. It seems like a very good day for Mercedes. But then at the same time, when you talk with the inside of the Mercedes people, they are still very humble, to say it, to put it at least. They're still saying, like, okay, let's hope for a good weekend, but you don't see the extreme confidence. They're still like, let's see on Saturday and Sunday, and let's see also the next races that we really can confirm that we are back. So, very interesting to see, because I remember in Belgium, it was actually a little bit the same, even on the Saturday night. They were still like, we don't know about tomorrow. And then they had this, brilliant victory and actually 1-2. Of course, then Russell got out of the qualification. But in the end of the day, yeah, like Russell sees it as well. A 1-2 for Mercedes at that point. Definitely a good start here, but yeah, very interesting to see if they can hold it up, right? I mean, it's not going to be easy. I guess McLaren will be also very, very strong here.
And of course, the big thing is that tomorrow, Saturday for qualifying, there's a really big chance of rain, and that could just change everything once again. But the thing that's incredible is that obviously it was George Russell fastest, Oscar Piastri second, Lewis Hamilton third, Lando Norris in fourth, and Max Verstappen in fifth. Red Bull, Mercedes, and McLaren all much faster than FP2 times from last season. George Russell's time was 6/10 quicker than what Norris did to top FP2 in Zandvoort last season. So the improvement of the cars is extraordinary. And obviously Verstappen in fifth, just under 3/10 adrift. But there's a story with Max, no matter what happens this weekend. If he wins, it's his fourth consecutive home victory. If he loses, then it's another race of Red Bull and Max not picking up the victory. But Red Bull, surely they must be quite a little optimistic that actually it's been an okay Friday for Max compared to McLaren and Mercedes.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, especially on Max side, everything seems to be solid at this point. But if solid is enough at this point of the season, that's, yeah, what you're referring to as well. That will be interesting to see because with the severe competition year of Mercedes, especially McLaren, I think it's also could be a very difficult weekend for Red Bull. As we saw in Spa, Verstappen, very good still under those difficult circumstances on the Saturday. So tomorrow it could be an advantage for him if the circumstances are difficult with some rain. That would definitely help him. But yeah, it's very interesting to see indeed if Red Bull can really make this progression. I mean, solid start on the Friday, but they definitely need to, pick up. And it's very interesting yesterday as well. Max Verstappen said in his Dutch session as well, like, okay, we have to see very much analyzing still. That's still the point where they are after, some of the upgrades didn't really seem to work. I remember that also Helmut Marko over the winter said, or joked even about possible downgrades on the car of Perez, where he intended like, okay, maybe we'll make a few steps back. We won't go ahead with the upgrades that we had. So, I think also Red Bull was quite, having a Friday of searching for the right direction. So very interesting to see later on also what the team and Max Verstappen have to say on it. And then tomorrow, as you mentioned, as if the rain comes and you can throw it actually all away what you built up today, right? You could use it on the Sunday. But for tomorrow, very difficult because what you're going to choose, you go for this wet session and a very good qualifying and you try to hold your position, or you dare to risk and you say, okay, we put it on a full dry session on the setup for the Sunday and risk to, start from a little bit further down. So very interesting Saturday coming up.
And obviously, on the topic of Red Bull, on Max's side, it was a pretty good day. On Sergio Perez's, not so much, down in P12. This was seen as a big day for Sergio. Obviously, Red Bull, on the first day of the summer break, confirmed he would keep his seat for the remainder of the season. And then his first day back in the RB20 and P12 to end the first day. That's not what Checo would have wanted.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I think it's going to be, again, a difficult weekend for him, or he has to pick up, of course, tomorrow. Then it's qualifying day. That is why the money really counts, to put it that way. There, he really has to show it. But difficult start. So I think also for Sergio Perez, I hope he had just a day of really searching and trying to get that right feeling that tomorrow morning maybe he can find the real pace. But also for him, the rain will be a difficult situation again to adapt. So very interesting to see if whether he can pick up tomorrow. Otherwise, another difficult weekend for him. That would be difficult because, Red Bull is more or less trying everything. You can see sometimes they are very criticizing him. Then they're giving him a new contract, giving him a lot of confidence. Also over the summer now, they really showed him like, you are our guy. So very interesting to see also, how it's going to help him or, to find this right click. Also, of course, with the race engineer change. Maybe also some adaptation today that they are working on that. So very interesting to see indeed, like what can Sergio Perez do tomorrow and definitely also on Sunday, because he will need to have a good weekend to go off to Monza and the following races.
Absolutely. And just moving on to McLaren, and Lando Norris obviously topped free practice one, which was mainly wet and obviously became dry towards the end. If qualifying is wet on Saturday, and if the rain, for example, doesn't hang around for the whole session, McLaren could be in quite a good position because, like we saw in Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, in those changing conditions where it could be intermediate tyres, it could be softs, the McLaren Lando and Oscar just seem to come alive. That could help them on Saturday because, as I mentioned, Oscar Piastri in second today, Lando Norris in fourth. McLaren look like they're also right up there.
Yeah, I definitely 100% agree. Yeah, there you see that what advantage you can have when two drivers are really competitive to each other.
Yeah.
They really seem to bring each other to another level, right? And then also regarding what you say with the car, also internally when you speak at McLaren, they really have the feeling like whatever circumstance, whatever circuit, they feel like with this car, it's so easy to say like, okay, after a few laps, oh, we need to change something, let's do it. And it seems like Red Bull is struggling a little bit more there, that it's more difficult to really change something on the car, especially also with the ride height in the past. We heard some things it was difficult, and at McLaren they're saying like, oh, we can easily adapt to all circumstances. So I think that's also helping the drivers a lot. And then two of those great drivers, also so competitive to each other, they really seem to be in the right spot at the moment on, let's say, every way.
And a difficult day for Ferrari. Charles Leclerc only P9. Carlos Sainz missed the majority of FP2 with a gearbox issue. First day back after the summer break, and already some difficulties for Ferrari to try and fix.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they need to really fix this soon. Carlos Sainz missing a lot of time, valuable time today. That will be a pity, especially on this circuit. I think you really want to have your laps in to really get that feeling right, to really get into the rhythm. It's a small circuit, but it's very flowing, so you really, as a driver, I think you really want to pick up and need some laps to really get into it. I don't want to compare it with Monaco, but more or less, I think you really want to get into the rhythm, right? So, painful start for Ferrari. They need to pick up as well, of course, for tomorrow, and also for them, especially for Carlos. If you don't really have that rhythm, tomorrow, a rainy day, I think it's, especially a difficult start then.
And the big news this morning, as I mentioned at the top of the show, Jack Doohan has been confirmed as Pierre Gasly's teammate at Alpine next season. Another seat gone, and Jack's finally going to get his chance to show everyone what he can do on the grid.
Yeah, exactly. Another seat gone. In the beginning, or let's say, the summer break, at the beginning of the summer break, there were the rumors that it was quite clearly like it's going to be Jack Doohan, right? And now finally he had this decision. Finally he got to hear, okay, it's my seat. And I think especially for him, seeing also how the way he climbed up, he doesn't have the same career as Oscar Piastri, for example. But I think he did show sometimes in his career, like he got something special. I think that's also what Alpine sees in him. Flavio Briatore, Oliver Oak, they seem to be really believing in Jack Doohan. They really have the feeling, okay, he can, bring us forward, can be a good teammate for Pierre Gasly, learn from Gasly, who, also already showed in the press that he's really keen on helping a young star like Jack Doohan. And I think also the risk that Jack Doohan, let's say, the risk that he took to go to Alpine as a third driver, doing the work, the hard work in the simulator. Like tonight, you will be in the simulator until 3-4 a.m. and then fly to here, do the PR activities. He's doing that all season already. And I think that really shows also to the team that they had a good possibility to see like, okay, does he really got what it takes to be here on the grid? So I think in every way he showed it also during some tests. 2 months ago, he was here in the Netherlands doing a test for Alpine at the Zandvoort circuit. And I think in those moments, he really showed to the team like, okay, I'm F1 material. I can show it. I can deliver to the team. And I think that's very interesting for us to see a young star in Formula One, to see what he got. Always good, especially, of course, with a dad, 5-time world champion. How great is it to see his son now back in Formula One? That makes the story, in my opinion, even more, let's say, alive.
Yeah, it's a famous name and another big Australian driver on the grid. Aaron, before I let you go, on the RacingNews365.com videos, we do bold predictions. I don't know if you're aware of that. So we do our bold predictions, in this case, for qualifying tomorrow. I'll give you a second to think. I'm going to say it's going to be a McLaren lockout on the front row. I think we'll have Lando Norris on par with Oscar Piastri in second. That's my bold prediction. Of your first bold prediction for .com, so no pressure.
So you with Oscar and then Lando?
I'm going to go Lando on pole, Oscar in second. That's what I'm going for.
All right. Then I'll go for Lando on pole, Max second, and Piastri third.
And then Lando and Max to take each other out in the first corner. No.
Let's hope no. Let's hope we have a nice race. Like a nice battle between the three of them. That would be even more great. All right.
Definitely. Aaron, enjoy what's left of the sunshine. Make sure you've got your umbrella or your poncho tomorrow, whatever you prefer. This has been the latest episode of the RacingNews365.com F1 update from myself and Aaron. We will see you on Saturday after qualifying. See you later.
Thank you, Nick. Bye-bye.